Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about stress, and I'm going to give you 3 diet changes that you can make to help you reduce your stress levels. My name is Deb, and welcome to Women Reinventing Midlife TV, where we aim to inspire women over 50 to thrive in a meaningful life that you deeply desire and deserve. Now, unaddressed stress can affect our nervous system and our metabolic function. There are many illnesses that are stress related. And if we don't find healthy ways to reduce even low level stress, then it can lead to more serious things like high level anxiety, depression, and increased risk on other more serious illnesses like type 2 diabetes, IBS, cancer, and heart disease. Now, stress also has an impact on the way that we age as well, and it can cause us to age more rapidly if we don't find ways to manage our stress levels. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know I believe in being holistic about change. And so you're going to find some other videos at the end of this one that will show you other ways that you can manage stress levels as well. But this isn't about changing one thing. It's about addressing this from a mind, body, spirit perspective. And so I encourage you to do your own research as well. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the physical aspect of it and the changes that you can make around what you put in your body that can help you manage your stress levels. Because you see, our enteric nervous system controls our digestive system, which is connected through our central nervous system and our sympathetic nervous system. And our sympathetic nervous system is what can become triggered when we are under stress. So that's going to affect the way we digest food. So it's important that we manage our stress levels. What we also put into our body can affect our stress levels as well. And I'm going to be sharing a little bit about that through these 3 diet changes. So it can help us have a beneficial effect on our stress levels or a negative effect on our stress levels, depending on what we're putting into our body. So the first one that I'm going to talk about, and you're probably not going to want to hear this, I'm sure you won't, but hear me out because it's important, and that is alcohol. Alcohol consumption is increasing. I frequently hear people say that they drink a half a bottle a night or 1 bottle a night or even more. Now, it's not about having to give up alcohol completely because you don't have to. You can if you want to. It's going to be beneficial. But you don't have to completely give it up. Sometimes it's just about reducing consumption. Because I know that having a glass of wine or your favorite tipple, whatever it is that you have, feels like it's reducing stress. And initially it does. If you've had a really busy day, it helps you relax, and I get that. What we also don't realize is that it has the potential to increase stress levels because it can trigger the stress response, which is triggered by our survival hormones. So we're often not aware of the ways in which alcohol can trigger the stress response as well. So initially it might feel relaxing, but on a longer term, it can actually have the opposite effect. So it's important to be aware of this. This is medically researched information, by the way, but I've also experienced this personally. When I reached menopause, I was diagnosed with adrenal fatigue. Now, this was quite a number of years ago. That's getting close to 10 years ago now. But since then, I've become very body aware. I'm very aware of what I put into my body and the kind of effects that it has, not only on me physically, but also on me mentally and emotionally as well. I love a glass of wine. I love a glass of wine on a Friday night. And I share a glass of wine with my partner while I'm cooking dinner, and he sits at the bench talking to me. And it's a social thing for us. Sometimes I have a glass of wine on a Saturday night as well, which is totally fine. If I increase that to maybe 2 glasses, or sometimes occasionally it's 2.5 glasses, I feel really relaxed to the point maybe I might go to sleep. But what happens after I go to sleep is I wake up about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning in stress response. I can feel my survival hormones going, my heart's beating rapidly. And I know that it's because I've had too much alcohol. And I know this because I'm very body aware. I'm really very aware of the kind of ways that my body responds to different foods and beverages. But many people aren't body aware, and that's why I'm talking so much about this. So as I said, it's not always about giving up alcohol completely. Sometimes just reducing alcohol is going to have a beneficial effect on you, not just your mental health, but also your physical health as well. The second diet change is to eliminate or drastically reduce processed and refined foods. Now, often people use processed and refined foods to feel better if they're feeling upset about something. And you even see this on movies, don't you? If someone's really upset about something, they'll sit on the couch with a big carton of ice cream and their spoon, and they're digging into it, and it looks like they intend to eat the whole thing. Now, while this can feel better while you're doing it, afterwards, it doesn't feel so great. And it's not just about the guilt around food either. When we eat a lot of processed and refined foods like that, it increases our blood sugar really, really rapidly. So it goes up very, very fast. When something goes up very, very fast, it comes down very fast as well. So we have a big, big blood sugar drop afterwards. When it drops like that, it triggers the stress response because it releases those survival hormones. I've experienced that personally myself because I've got a bit of a love for chocolate. And if I eat too much chocolate, I experience that. So it's important to eliminate or drastically reduce processed and refined foods. The other thing about eating too many processed foods is that we often miss out on those nutrients that are important for brain health and nervous system health, because there's only so much food we can eat. So we're missing out on the nutrient dense foods that are going to feed our nervous system. A medical meta-analysis review that I found and I read states that ultra-processed foods have the potential to cause depression and other mental health issues. So it's important to drastically reduce our consumption of these ultra-processed foods. And what I mean by that is things like anything that's in a packet, really, packets of chips, packets of biscuits, commercially baked goods, lollies, sweets, ice cream, chocolate, all of those sort of ultra processed foods. By drastically reducing, we're only gonna have a beneficial effect on both our mental well-being and our physical well-being. Now, before I go into the third dietary change, which is all about what to include instead, remember that if you're finding this content helpful, to please subscribe to this channel to support me in continuing to bring really helpful information like this to you. Okay, so the third diet change is to increase consumption of fresh, whole veggies and fruit. Well, moderate fruit, really. Now, I read a meta-analysis and systematic review, and it states that consuming more fresh veggies and fruit can promote higher levels of optimism, self-efficacy, and reduce levels of psychological distress, amongst other health-related matters. Now, the studies covered were mainly focused on depression, but covered other mental health characteristics such as stress, anxiety, mood, and sleep. And then let's have a look at how veggies and fruit are digested in our system. So they digest at a much slower rate. What that means is that it keeps our blood sugar levels stable. So instead of getting those highs and lows that we get with a lot of processed foods, we actually get stable blood sugar, which is going to care for our nervous system a lot more, in a lot more nurturing way. And then, of course, they're packed with those really healthy nutrients that some of which are going to feed our brain and feed our nervous system. So it's a wonderful way to nurture our mental health and our physical health. So this includes an abundance of all those non-starchy vegetables like spinach, kale, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, bok choy, carrots, what else? Legumes, onions, garlic, ginger, and I'm sure there's plenty more. Brussels sprouts, there's plenty more of these types of vegetables. And also those starchy vegetables, just in moderation, things like pumpkin and sweet potato. And then, of course, fruit, that's to be consumed in moderation as well. But to include those fruits that are really high in antioxidants and anti-inflammatories, which are really going to help reduce damage that can often be caused by stress. So things like all the beautiful berries, all the beautiful array of colors of berries are really beneficial for that. So there you have it. There's 3 dietary changes, some of which you might like, some of which you might not like initially. But, you know, they all help in some way to reduce our stress levels and the way that our health is impacted by stress. And remember that reducing stress levels is a holistic thing. It's a mind, body, spirit thing. So I encourage you to look at these videos at the end of this one and look at some other ways of reducing stress. It's never about changing just one thing, but if we can change on multiple levels, then we have much more control over the way that we experience stress. If you found this content helpful, please remember to like the video, share the video, subscribe to this channel, and click the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on the next video coming out. Lots of love to you, and I'll look forward to connecting next time. Bye-bye.